Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to have everyone in here. We won't have a New Orleans jazz band today, like Monday night, but we are here to get to business and do the people's work. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor Williams.
I'm here.
Mayor Pro Tem Middleton.
I'm here.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Caballero. Councilmember Cook.
Here.
Councilmember Freeman has requested an excused absence for today, and Councilmember Rist, who's in the building.
He's here. Thank you so much. Announcements.
I feel like I have a lot that are going to be shared by a lot of folks, so I'm just going to do one to start us off, which is that yesterday I had the opportunity of doing a tour of solid waste and some related facilities. So I want to give a special thanks to Casey, Carlos, and Marquand, who are on the bus with us for all of those different ones. We met Trinae at the headquarters, and we met Supercan at the headquarters, who is our newest mascot, a literal trash can with a cape on it. Very, very cute. So some photos to follow. And then Dan and Muriel, who took us around the lift station. And then we were able to go talk with folks about composting. And then we also visited the recycling plant, where we send off our recycling and got a tour to see how that functioned. And it was extremely enlightening. I got to go with Councilmember Rist and Mayor Pro Tem Middleton, and had a great time. I think we learned a lot. So just wanted to say thank you to the city staff who made that possible. And those are my announcements. Thanks.
Thank you. I thought you all were going to the solid waste water management facility, which is like the most, yeah. So I learned that. Yeah, that's another, that place is phenomenal. But the views from solid waste, when you go way, way, way back, yeah, some of the most beautiful open space we have. All right, Mr. Baker.
Just want to say thank you to everyone who's here and watching at home, and good to see you all, colleagues. Nothing for me today.
Councilmember.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I don't have much. I just wanted to shout out a book speaker who was here yesterday that was hosted by Housing for New Hope, and it was a really incredible author, and I just want to mention the book. Hold on. Brian Goldstone. Yeah, Brian Goldstone. He wrote a book around homelessness that is something, I will find the title, but I just wanted to shout out the author and Housing for New Hope for hosting him, and Duke for hosting him as well. It was a really great talk, and learned a lot, and I think that a lot of great lessons for Durham around homelessness. That's all. There's no place for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Rist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, staff, folks listening online and here in attendance. Yeah, it seems like it's been a kind of whirlwind since Monday night. We had a late meeting Monday, and it seems like things have been nonstop since then. Yeah, the solid waste tour that I went with Councilmember Cook and Mayor Pro Tem was incredibly fascinating. I just want to thank the staff. I want to thank Casey Harris-Pratt and Carlos Lyons and the other folks who guided us along and hosted us. You know, so much of what we do in this city is the stuff that it's a front-facing stuff we love seeing. It's like buildings, the built environment. It's our parks. It's like culture, you know. And the folks at Solid Waste are dealing every day with the stuff we all get rid of, we discard, you know. And that's some really important work. It's dangerous work. It's messy work. It's loud work. But it means that, like, you know, we don't have trash backing up in our where we work and where we live. And so they do incredibly valuable work to keep this a safe, beautiful city. And I really want to appreciate the work they do. That's also incredibly fascinating, and also watch from behind the scenes what this recycling whole business looks like and how that's processed is like really, really informative. And the more we can do, obviously, to reduce the amount of trash going in our waste streams, the better off we'll all be. A couple of things I want to thank Councilmember Caballero and our consultants at HR&A Consulting for the incredible work on housing that you've done. We had a presentation on Wednesday also with the Joint Durham Housing Initiative Task Force. Some great stuff that's coming out of that. in terms of data on the housing supply, housing needs, to really set the table for the work we're going to be doing going forward on to address the critical housing needs we have in Durham. So thanks for that. I know there's more work to be done, a lot of recommendations. So we'll look forward to more of the actions coming out of that task force. So thank you for leading that. Also this morning, we had the Mayor's Parks Challenge, right? So thanks to Emily McIntosh and the folks from the Parks Foundation and DPR for organizing that at, I think, about 20 parks around Durham, right? Thanks to our corporate partners who are part of that. I was at Bay Hargrove Park, with a little pocket park right there in Old North Durham. I've never been to before in 30 years in Durham. Great little park. We planted some amazing perennial flowers and grass and stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And I really appreciate the work the DPR has been doing across the whole system to really increase the visibility and the sort of like the visual appeal of parks. When you enter any Durham public parks, any DPR park, you'll see this kind of signature planting. So you know you're at a DPR facility. And that work has been really instrumental in both the brand for DPR, but also beautifying our city. So kudos to the parks and the folks who are doing the maintenance of those garden beds in all the parks. So amazing stuff. Mayor, I think you're going to also, speaking of books, you're going to be doing a little talk tonight with the mayor of Raleigh and one of the authors of Abundance. So again, great conversation I look forward to about another important topic that we're talking about in this country, about how do we get out of the scarcity mindset and really think about abundance for our communities, that we can have housing and a quality environment and roads and all the things we want, and do that in an efficient way to deliver local government, right? It's what this is about, right? How do we deliver local government in a better way at a time when government is really under pressure, and a lot of denigration of the role of government we're hearing from our federal leaders, but the critical importance of local government in getting stuff done for our residents, and how do we get that done quicker and more efficiently. So I look forward to that conversation, and thanks for your leadership on that. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, to my honorable colleagues, to everyone in chamber with us today, and whatever platform you may be watching. Good to be here today. Just want to echo the great time we had with my colleagues, Councilmember Cook and Councilmember Riss, yesterday touring solid waste. This wasn't my first time visiting, but it was a very different visit for me. When I first got elected, I went through the org chart and as part of my own self-education to visit everything on our org chart some years ago, and have hit a couple of departments here and there since then. But yesterday, although I had been there, I learned a lot of new stuff because I had a different set of eyes, fresh voices and fresh eyes with me. And I want to thank Councilmember Cook and Riss because some of the questions you asked actually prompted some fresh new perspectives for me on a department that I was familiar with. So it really speaks to the importance of churning and getting fresh eyes and fresh voices in the discussion. So I want to thank you both for helping me learn some new stuff, although I had been before. And I want to thank this incredible staff. Much of your work goes unheralded and doesn't make the paper all the time, but this city could not be what it is. We take so many things for granted. Turning on the water fountain, walking on a clean street, not smelling garbage in our streets. This city could not run without all of you. So from all of us, thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for allowing us to visit and tag along and get in your way from time to time for a little bit, so we'll know what we're voting about, that these votes won't be abstract and kind of separated from real world facts. Finally today, Mr. Mayor and colleagues, I'm going to get out of here a little early. That is, the meeting isn't already over. By about 2:30, I've got to head to the mountains. I'll be convening a meeting of Western leaders from our state to further talk about recovery from Hurricane Helene. Great progress has been made, but we still got a lot of work to do. So under the aegis of the league and along with Governor Stein, we'll be convening a meeting of Western leaders from our state. And I want to thank again Durham for being right at the top of the list of municipalities and towns in our state that have surged expertise and help and resources to our neighbors and our friends in Western North Carolina. We are all Western North Carolina. We are all North Carolinians. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you all. And yes, the Mayor's Corporate Challenge is happening today. Well, actually ended an hour ago, but parks all across the city. I started out at Merrick Moore and Wills this morning and just went out, but it's been quite a busy day. I spent some time with Leadership Triangle, and that was a phenomenal panel. Camille Berry of Chapel Hill Town Council, which is a really good friend of mine. She's the, I call her the Chelsea Cook of Chapel Hill because she asks so many questions. But we all are smarter at the end of those questionings. So,
Every
sorry,
town
Chelsea.
needs one, Mr. Mayor. Every city needs one.
And we, and then we had, who's next? Jennifer Robinson from Cary, Janet Cowell, Mayor of Raleigh. Jennifer is the Mayor Pro Tem of Cary. We had Corey Branch, former Mayor Pro Tem of Raleigh, and Karen Howard, County Commissioner in Chatham, and myself at Leadership Triangle with nonprofit leaders all over the Triangle. And regionalism is so important, guys. And I love being a regionalist and working with my counterparts across the Triangle. And I hope that we can do more together. This morning, I opened the day up welcoming emerging executives to Durham. These are economic development directors, chamber representatives, nonprofit representatives at the Bulls Park and the PNC Club from all over the state, mostly from smaller communities. And I talked about the importance of connecting the dots across our across our state economically, which, that's why we need rail. If we can connect the triad and the triangle, Charlotte to the triad to the triangle, there's a lot of benefits that could be for everyone in between and those major corridors. So I'm going to keep pushing that agenda as the mayor of Durham. And, we're right in the heart of the state, so we benefit from it all, from rail coming through here to, two interstates coming through here. However, I am going to seek on how we can get this train horn to stop blowing all the way through the city all the time. That's my personal bias. Gosh, I think they do it on purpose. And yes, on a more somber note, I am getting more and more warrant notices, which is getting scarier. Warrant is basically when a corporate partner has to notify the city and the mayor's office and the mayor and the county commissioner chair and the city manager. I'm not sure you get these. Yeah, city manager and county manager of when there's going to be a significant reduction in force. We are losing jobs left and right. It's bad. It's bad. This morning, FHI sent their email. That's literally across the street. But that's one of the most significant NGOs in the world, housed right here in Durham. They are having to cut hundreds of people. RTI, the Museum of Life and Science is losing their funding. It's just bad. Between Duke and Carolina alone, in their health research area, is about $3 billion. They are losing a lot of resources. And the United States, as well as the world, rely on our medical region for a lot of research. And I'm really worried about that. We're talking probably Duke alone, maybe anywhere from $200 to $700 million in cuts. So it's going to be a rocky road ahead, and I hope that we just can hold on. I do believe, and I'm saying this in my opinion, in my interpretation of what's going on, I do believe there's been some mass market manipulation happening, and we are catching the short end of the stick. So I do hope that it self-corrects soon. And so I'm keeping my eyes on what's happening at the national level because it does affect us at the local level. Lastly, I will say, colleagues, I am preparing to request a presentation to come before us on our elections. Not sure if you have noticed, but our elections have become a lot more expensive. Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to catch you off guard. Could you just kind of remind me of where we are in this? Like, there's like a significant increase. I did talk to Mr. Bowden, and he said, "Yeah, you guys need to take a look at this." So, could you remind me of what the increase is on these off-year elections?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have the exact figures, but I can estimate, I think for both the primary and general, we're nearly at $900,000 in expense for that.
And we're getting extremely low turnout. We're talking 900, almost $1 million on an off-year election. I think this is something that we need to look at. I've gotten lots of interaction from community members that are saying, you need to change this. I can't change this by myself. But this is something I'd like for us to at least hear, colleagues, and bring before us. Councilmember Caballero.
Do you want us to schedule it at Procedures Committee with City Attorney's Office so that they can give us some guidance on legality around what those steps are?
Yep, let's do that. Councilmember.
Also, Madam Clerk, what's the cost for like not off year, whatever the other year is when there's larger other elections going on?
We have general and primary every 2 years.
So
It's the same price, yeah.
Well, to answer your
It's
question.
just ever increasing.
To answer your question, that's the question I asked the Director of Elections. Pretty much, if it's on, so this is it's a question we have to deliberate amongst one another and answer. If we went with the presidential year, which we go back and forth, remember Charlie Reese and I talked about this. Do you have your main election during the presidential year or not? We do one every other year because of our staggering, but it's a matter of, do you not pay much of anything, or do you pay, do you cover foot the bill for the entire election? So
Right, we pay the same amount every year though, right? So even if it's not
every other year.
for our local elections. But what I'm saying, what does it cost for then on the even years essentially, yeah?
Nothing, nothing. Yeah. Yeah, we don't pay, Councilmember Riss, it's nothing, it's zero.
Who pays for it then?
It's the general election, so we get on that ballot.
Mr. Mayor, I do think there is some cost, but you're spreading it along among a number of
The other
different
elections, that's right.
jurisdictions
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there are so many different elections going. So the state is paying a portion, the county's paying a portion, that sort of thing.
Yeah, he said pretty much not much at all, but because we're sharing it with so many others, we do pay, we contribute. But when we don't, we cover it all ourselves, but we can put it in procedures and talk through it. Yeah, I had another.
I just was saying, basically, when we do it, when we're the only people on the ballot, then we're covering the full cost. When we are sharing it in even years with others, whether it's presidential or not, there's also midterm elections, then that cost gets spread with whoever else is on the ballot. So it's just a proportion versus a whole.
Yeah, so we could know what our proportion is then of the whole.
And it's not
Yeah.
anywhere near $1 million.
Yeah, we're talking a significant difference. All right, so should we go to procedures first before?
That would be, we're meeting next week, and so we can at least, not to talk about it, but at least to schedule, because folks who are on Procedures Committee can at least have a conversation on when we can talk about it, right?
Okay.
Because it's always herding cats to get us all where we need to be. So that just is an opportunity to at least say, okay, this is how long City Attorney's Office needs for research. And then we can get scheduled. That's my
Yes,
recommendation.
Madam Clerk, Madam Attorney, you have the look on your face of saying something.
I'm good, Mr. Mayor.
Okay,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Madam Attorney, the remedy would be, the only remedy would be for us to change our elections, right? And is that fully within our purview? Or, I mean, if we're gonna, if we have elections every 2 years anyway, we got to pay for them. If we're looking to either ride the coattails of the even year election, presidential year elections, then that essentially means we're going to be changing or talking about changing our elections. And would that fully fall within our purview, or would that require?
I would like to have an opportunity to research that and brief that for you, but I do know that our counterparts in both Raleigh and Charlotte have changed to even year elections is how I refer to them, because then you're at least on statewide election ballots are going on in the even years, irrespective of whether it's a presidential year or a midterm of some sort. And I would like to get with my peers to kind of talk through the steps of how they did that and what was entailed, and
Sure.
And I will provide that information to you.
And if there'd be any implications for having a staggered council as opposed to all of us being up at the same time, which has its own set of, issues and questions as well. So thank you. I look forward to the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think where you're probably going, it'll require a charter. I don't know. We'll bring it to procedures and take it there. But I just wanted to put it on your radar. I'm about to bring that before us.
Yeah, and I think it'd be interesting to have a conversation holistically as well. I mean, we had an email exchange several months ago. I was asking about having a discussion about our ward system, and whether we want to move to true ward system or whether we want to maintain it the same. I think that'd be an interesting question to have at the same time. So,
Agreed. Thank you all. Yes, ma'am.
If council members want to send me anything that is related to elections with question marks, I remember that one. That has come up for years. Please just email me, and then we will make sure that we can give a total list to city attorneys so that they're not chasing little threads, and get it scheduled and coordinated so that we are moving in alignment and not and being intentional. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you all for, yes, sir.
now I'm just looking for clarity. What is the process here as it relates to the procedures committee?
We'll basically, so Councilman Caballero chairs the procedures. So this would be a change in our operations, procedures rather. So what we'll do is bring it to the procedures committee, pretty much lay all of this out. It'll have all of the information and research done with it, and then we'll bring in whoever we need to bring in for a presentation. But at least we'll have
And then it comes back to
right.
Okay.
Bring it back to us. We'll have a menu of things to talk about. I just wanted to put it on our radar. That's an area we can save a significant amount of money. All right, let's get to it. Yes, ma'am.
I just want to clarify, I don't think that Councilmember Freeman ended up asking for that absence.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
I'll make that motion now.
Will you please?
Yes, I'll make a motion to excuse Councilmember Freeman from today's work session.
Okay.
All right, it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, and I look forward to, if you all are available, seeing you at the Urban Ministries Gala tomorrow night, as well as Equity Before Birth tomorrow at Museum of Life and Science at 4:00, and then Urban Ministries after that. And also, the Chancellor of NCCU is doing a 2-week celebration of installation. So there are lots of events. Her gala will be tomorrow night as well. There's a reception and then gala. And then tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. actually, her installation ceremony, 9. Thank you for saying that. My calendar says 7:30 and I was like, why? Park by 8:30. Okay, all right. It's better than 7:30. All right, Mr. Board of Trustee over there, are we on board with that? All right, 9 o'clock it starts, but get there if you can. Yep, see you all there. Yep. All right, thank you all so much. Let's get to the business. Mr. Manager, on you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, members of council. The city manager's office has no priority items, but take a point of personal privilege and thank the council members for their kind comments for the solid waste staff, who absolutely deserve that praise. And also for the comments about our assistants in Western North Carolina. But I also want to turn that around and thank the council members and the Mayor Pro Tem for taking the time to do a deep dive with our staff and to see some of the lesser seen parts of the operation. We appreciate you spending your time to educate yourselves and to see the work that they do. They appreciate it and we appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Attorney.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, and members of the council. The city attorney's office has no priority items today.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have my board, committee, and commission report. The first nomination is for the Participatory Budgeting Steering Committee. Llewellyn M. Esteban is the nominee. Mayor's Hispanic Latino Committee appointments, there are 2, Victor Ayani and Marciano Solano. And for the final Workers' Rights Commission, diverse background nominees are Marcus B. Spates and Kaya Taylor. For the low-wage industry, category, Elise Balin, Nina Martin, Corey Wegwert, Gary Wood, and the final Durham Largest Workplace for the Workers' Rights Commission. The nominations are Antonio Luster and Garrett L. Robertson. And that's the end of the report.
Thank you so much. Yes, go ahead.
I was gonna pull number 3 briefly. I know that's not relevant, but I just want to make sure for the staff person that they stay on after the clerk's items are approved.
So you're looking to speak with the staff person for that?
I just have a couple questions about the Workers' Rights Commission.
Okay,
Very brief. I just want to make, because I know we do that in advance so
Yeah.
that the staff person doesn't have to wait till the very end. So I just wanted to alert whoever
Okay.
is listening that I'm going to pull that item.
all right. Sounds good. Thank you. So at this time, I will read the consent agenda. Number 1, participatory budgeting. Mayor Pro Tem, I'm going to ask that you read the, I'm struggling already.
No problem.
I can't find my glasses.
All right, consent agenda is as follows. Item number 1, participatory budgeting steering committee appointment. Item number 2, mayor's Hispanic Latino committee appointments. Item number 3, Durham Workers' Right Commission appointments. That's being pulled. Councilmember Cook, item number 3 is pulled. Item number 4, approval of city council minutes. Under departmental items, item number 5, city code amendment for water and sewer connections.
Can I pull that one?
Item number 5. Item number 5 is pulled. Under the Community Development Department, item number 6, contract with Corporate Fax FACTS, Inc. for the preparation of the 5-year 2025 through 2029 Consolidated Plan, 2025 Annual Action Plan, Citizen Participation Plan, and 2025 through 2029 Analysis of Impediments to Fair Housing Choice. Item number 7, Trails at Twin Lakes Development Loan Commitment.
Pull that one as well.
Item number 8, Second Amendment to Contract Number 18394 between the City of Durham and Durham County for the provision of the housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, HOPWA, housing assistance, and related supportive services. Under our General Services Department, item number 9, electric vehicle supply equipment pre-assessment and design build contracts with MLS Electric, Inc. Item number 10, First Amendment to the Climate Core Agreement between the City of Durham and Strategic Energy Innovations, Inc. Item number 11, preliminary guaranteed maximum price amendment to the construction manager at risk CMAR contract with LaChase Construction Services LLC for the City Hall and Annex HVAC project. Item number 12, parking facility structural maintenance FY24, package number 1, project contract change order number 2 with Carolina Restoration and Waterproofing, Inc. Under our Public Works Department, item number 13, drainage structure improvements SD 2025-02. Under our Solid Waste Management Department, item number 14, contract with Municipal Media Corp for Recycle Coach, an all-in-one waste and recycling communication tool. Under our
I think pull that one just to note, we talked a lot about the yesterday, about communicating with our residents about how they can better recycle and reduce the contamination in our recycling stream. So good stuff.
Are you pulling it up?
No, no, just
Okay,
yeah.
good. Appreciate the comment. Technology Solutions Department, item number 15, contract with Carasoft Technology Corporation to purchase Nutanix licenses. Item number 16, contract with Sharp Leasing USA Corp for leasing and upgrade of printer fleet. Under our Transportation Department, item number 17, municipal maintenance agreements with North Carolina Department of Transportation for signing and pavement marking work performed on state roads. For public hearings for our upcoming general meeting, City County Planning Department, item number 18, consolidated annexation, Romero Residence, item number 19, consolidated item, Page Miami Design District, item number 20, TC 2400003, a privately initiated Unified Development Ordinance UDO text amendment. Item number 21, consolidated annexation, Page Corners. Item number 22, zoning map change, 1202 Ellis Road. In the Community Development Department, item number 23, proposed substantial amendments to the FY20 through 25 consolidated plan and FY21 through 22, FY22 through 23, FY23 through 24, and FY24 through 25 annual action plans for community development block grant CDBG and housing opportunities for persons with AIDS, HOPWA. That ends the reading of the printed agenda for today. Madam Clerk, do we have any citizens matters?
No, just.
No, Mr. Mayor, they're all resourced.
All right, thank you. Mr. Mayor, that's the agenda. With I have items number 3, 5, and 7 pulled. Mr. Manager, do you concur?
Concur.
All right.
All right, sounds good. We'll go to item number 3. You guys don't want to stay and listen to the interesting stuff? Ms. Probst, Gina, could you give me a call?
Oh, hi.
Thank you. They were ready to go. Real work to do. All right,
Thank you.
we'll go ahead at item number 3.
Okay.
Councilmember Cook.
I'm gonna be
Actually, all
so,
of these are yours.
so good. Are they all mine? They're all mine. Okay, yes. But I only did 3. That's not that bad. Okay, this one's gonna be so fast. My
Okay.
first one is the Nina Martin has an A on the end of, it's Nina, and it's misspelled in both the memo and also on our ballot. So I just wanted to note that. And because that person has published a lot of work under their name, sounds like that needs to be correct. And then do you have a sense, and this might be a better question for whoever the liaison is, as to why there were no meetings for 3 months at the end of the year? Because we were looking at the attendance reports, and for some of them who had just gotten on the board, they only had like 2 meetings out of 6 months to see
I can
attendance.
recheck my emails, but I know that I could say that Antonio, the head person, was sick on one of them.
Mhm.
And I know till the end of the year, they usually have meet and greet, like Thanksgiving and Christmas. They all fell on the 4th Tuesday, so it's around the holiday.
I see. Okay. I just wanted to make sure because there were no meetings scheduled, and so.
Yeah, it was around, I know
we-
the November, December was around the holiday,
Okay.
and they just say, we just not gonna meet.
Okay, that totally makes
But,
sense.
yeah.
It was just a lot of people. It was like 6 or 8 people for, it was 8 vacancies. And then it was just like weird to see no meetings for
Yeah.
several months, but that totally
Yeah,
makes sense.
towards the end of the year, since we do 4th Tuesdays, and it falls around then, they usually don't meet, because everybody be out of town or,
Totally.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Those were all my questions. Thank
Okay.
you.
Excuse me a moment. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Assistant Clerk Ashley. What else, Diana? Oh, Ashley Adams. Yes.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Ashley.
If I could add that, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to follow up on those comments. Thanks for pulling that item. I want to note that the liaison to the Workers' Rights Commission is Councilmember Freeman, who I think chose earlier this year, or let the mayor know she wouldn't be able to meet that responsibility. So that was passed back to the mayor. I think Derek's been attending. So actually the chair reached out to me at some point and said, hey, you know, we have questions about our role in the city. You know, would you be willing to attend one of our meetings? So I went to one of the meetings just to attend to see what they're up to. I think the Workers' Rights Commission is an important part of the sort of advice we get as a city council. I know one of the meetings actually, when I'd planned to attend, I think they had a AV thing, that's the reason they couldn't sort of do a Zoom call, and that meeting got canceled. So there was some concern that they feel like they have not had proper support from the city council. And so something the mayor and I have talked about. Again, I think it's an important function. I want to make sure they're properly supported. And so that's something that is worth some further discussion here.
Yeah, I'll go back to, thanks for that. And this is on us, colleagues. We have 29 boards, committees, and commissions, and it's 7 of us. And we all are assigned, I assign all of you all, including myself, to these boards, committees, and commissions. I try my best to get you where you want to be, but then you're going to have to take some that you just don't want. Unfortunately, Councilmember Freeman has just a lot of conflicts for whatever reason, which Councilmember Rist, I appreciate you for taking on way more than anyone else. There are a lot of boards, committees, and commissions that are not on our 29 that the mayor I'm required to be a part of. And it's probably about 12 of those. I think the best thing we can probably do is just, I can have some meetings scheduled to where, they can meet with me and I could share those updates with the council. Right now, there is no representative from the council to that committee. And I have tried to fulfill with myself or my staff, fulfill those, those engagements. But also we also are not required, so we aren't required to attend every meeting that the committees, boards, commissions have. So, but it's just a matter of communication. And I'll make sure I have my staff reach out and try and schedule a meeting with the chair so I can get some updates. I know I can't take on any more. If any of y'all want to take on some more, that'll be great. Councilmember Freeman has about 4, and we all should have about 9. So.
So just to bookmark off of that, just a question for a different day, but I just want to raise it. There's a lot of people that apply to these boards, a lot of people, and we do have a significant number of boards. And it is my intention to speak with colleagues about potentially like doing some sort of overview of what we have and the efficacy of all of these boards and council or committees. Not a question for today, but just putting that on y'all's radar that has been something that I've been thinking about anyway. And this is kind of why I pulled this item, because I was concerned with that number of people we were appointing, that those meetings hadn't been occurring. And like you said, that feels like a very important item, particularly given, Mayor, what you just said at the beginning of the meeting about our workforce and the rapidly changing landscape. So that is my intention moving forward. So just look out for an email from me, colleagues, about some ideas around potentially looking into the efficacy and just making sure that we're doing the best we can and utilizing the people who are signing up to do that volunteer work with us.
Right, to make sure the time is well spent.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. And I don't know if this is a procedures thing. Is that or is not?
No. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, colleagues. I think it's worth noting how some of these boards get born. Some of these boards are reactionary out of an issue that's an issue at the moment. None of these boards and commissions should be generated by council attendance. What usually happens is an organic, ongoing need is identified, and the board becomes self-generating because the mission is clear and because what needs to be done is ever present. The Workers' Right Commission was born out of, honestly, a hotbed moment when we were talking about raises and talking about unions and talking about other issues. And those things are episodic, right? They ebb and flow. When we get around budget time, some things become more more in the fore than others. Then they recede. So some of these boards and commissions were not born out of the council. Somebody, or sometimes a council member will say, because an issue is hot, we need a board and commission for this particular issue. And then when that issue is, either the raise is passed or the thing is done, then the issue kind of recedes. But if we have to, and to Councilmember Cook's point, if we have to kind of think about, and I'm not talking about for this board, particularly just in general, if we have to kind of think about making up work for them to do, then maybe that board's life has, maybe it's weak. Some of these things can be de facto and ad hoc. And I think so we've got some boards that were meant to be specific for a season that just, we kept going. Some should be standing and some are ad hoc. And that may be well worth looking at. But the Workers' Right Commission was born out of a movement in a very intense period of focus, union-driven, wage-driven. That issue receded. And I think that's why we're seeing kind of a lull and asking what next. So
Yeah, that's why I like task forces and ad hoc work. 1 second, let me get Councilman Kilrea first.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say to that point where there have been I think the clerk's office is working on, the bylaw question for boards and commissions. And so I'm wondering if a part 2 of that is to look at which boards and commissions consistently just have low attendance, or we've had challenges getting those boards appointed. I know that I think it's the Appearance Commission has also really struggled to maintain membership and quorum. And so to some folks' questions here, I wonder that is not a new thing. Like, this has come up every few years. Do we have too many? Partly because we're asked to be liaisons to these boards and commissions. And there's also some that are just required. We have to have a HRC. That's tied to the Fair Housing Act, Planning Commission, right? So some of these are required, and some of them, to the Mayor Pro Tem and Councilmember Cook's point, are, in response to something. The Community Safety and Wellness Task Force was a task force for a reason. They did their work, they disbanded. And so there may be other things that we need to think about. Is it really, I think Discover Durham's board, you have to have it. It's our tourism board, we have to have representation there. So I would appreciate from the clerk, maybe some, here are the things that you can't really get rid of. And then here are the boards and commissions that are purely voluntary. And here are the ones that maybe have struggled within that bucket. Thank you.
Okay, we'll review
Baker.
that and get back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
Yeah, I think there's also just ebbs and flows in civic engagement. And I remember there have been certain times where there's just been a million applications for all boards and commissions, and then sometimes we can't find anybody for anything. And certain boards, obviously draw a lot of applicants and others don't. But specifically to Durham Workers' Rights Commission, I'd be interested. I don't have time, but I'd be interested in connecting with you and Councilmember Freeman and thinking through specifically to that board what the future looks like, and potentially serving as liaison as well, but we can follow up on that.
Thank you. And then could we just get a list, Diana? So some places have alternates, right? So like some of our boards and commission assignments have an alternate and some of them don't, and it's not unified. And so that could also be a way to solve it, is maybe a council member can't get there all the time, but if that one has an alternate between two council members, they can get most of the meetings covered, because that's how it's with some of the other boards and commissions. Thank you.
And I want to remind us, like, it is great for us to be there, but it's not required. Some things I have to have you guys on and myself, but us being present means a lot to the community members that are involved and engaged. But that's why this year I was like, all right, I don't want you to feel like, feel bad if you can't make it. But
I just want to share a sage piece of advice, because when I was first appointed, I asked Mayor Schuler candidly, right? Like, oh, it's council meetings, it's work session meetings, and it's also all these boards and commissions. And he just said, try and get there 50% of the time. Like, if you can get there 50% of the time, you're making a good effort. And so I'm just sharing that with colleagues. I do not think the expectation is to get there more. But most of our boards and commissions do not meet in December or July. That is a moving whatever. So then you're taking 2 months out, and then you're only getting there 50% of the time. So it's actually not that many meetings added. Now, we all have a lot on our plates, but like if you kind of look at it in that way, then it versus like, oh, it's 12 meetings and 7 boards and commissions. It's like, no, and one of the things I will be asking in our bylaw conversation is that every board and commission does not meet in December and July, to give staff a break as well, because a lot of our boards and commission also have staff liaisons, and we have to be mindful about their time as well.
yes, sir.
Madam City Clerk, for your analysis, would also be good to clarify which boards is the city council representative, because some of them we were voting members. Some of them were just like I'm a liaison to DHA, I don't vote. Yeah, but
We can't vote anymore. It's I forgot what that. Yeah.
I think it might, but a lot of these were we're part of the quorum, right? So I think it'd be worth noting on which boards are we actually standing members, where we impact the quorum, and which ones are we just sort of observers.
Right, I understand, and we'll have to review the bylaws to determine that.
All right, so we'll get this feedback from Madam Clerk, and we'll bring this discussion back up. Thank you, Councilmember Cook, for bringing number 3 out. Just tell us you read every syllable of the packet without telling us, identify misspelled names and stuff. Nerd. She's a nerd. Super smart.
Thank you. I'm going to take that as a big compliment.
Oh, I just called you a hot
Nerd. Are we ready to move on? I can go ahead and
item number 5.
Oh, sorry about that.
Mr. Whiteman.
Yes, I'm Scott Whiteman from the planning department. I also have Sarah Long, our senior planner, with us as well.
Okay. Just a couple of questions. I am looking specifically at the contract. So in 7B, it reads that that it's subject to city council approval, and also it might be subject to annexation at the discretion of council. And I was just wondering if you could procedurally tell me what this is going to look like. So how it comes to us, what it looks like. because I imagine because of the way that this is written, it's not going to be standard as a public hearing. So I just was hoping for some clarity around that.
Certainly, and we'll probably, the Public Works Department administers the actual program, so we'll need to get some better answers from them. But there is a current city procedure for which extension agreements need to go to council for approval and which ones can be approved by the administration. So this code amendment would not change that procedure at all. It would just add this slightly larger exemption from which ones would require annexation.
Okay, and then as part of that, then we will be tasked at deciding if there's an annexation needed as part of that as well. Will we get information about that from the staff report? I guess I'm just curious, like how we would know from looking at a utility agreement whether or not it would be a good idea to annex. I assume that's going to come as a recommendation from the department, but I'm just curious about it.
Yeah, it's certainly, we will lay out the benefits and costs for annexing. I think there's actually a case on the agenda for this meeting that kind of fits in that category.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, we'll see it in real time. This would be at the cost of the homeowner to connect to those services. But assumedly, we do still take on the cost in terms of maintenance and also in terms of like staff and such, because they'll be paying for the water themselves. Is there any difference in cost to folks who are connected outside of the city lines for the use of the water and the sewer?
Yeah, folks outside the city limits are subject to double rates for water and sewer.
Okay.
And yes, so, and the way this code amendment is written, it's for properties that are within 500 feet of an existing line. So those are lines that the city's already maintaining. And so the private connection to those lines would be the property owner's responsibility.
Okay, thank you. That was super helpful. Those are actually my questions.
Right. And also number 7.
Hey, Mr. Johnson, really very, very quick question. So mostly I'm super excited about this. It sounds like the city hasn't put any money into this project at all. This is sort of a little bit of a bridge gap funding for the developer, and it's a pretty minimal amount for the number of units that we're going to get, 168 affordable units. I guess I was wondering if you could, we've done this before, but if you could re-explain what a forgivable loan looks like coming out of the dedicated housing fund, and whether or not there's any, well, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word, but with whether you're able to recoup if there's like some issue with that loan that's given. You just talk about the loan a little bit.
Reginald J. Johnson, Community Development. The forgivable loan is a standard loan that we use because oftentimes grants do affect the performers, and so we don't use that as a tool. The effectiveness of a forgivable loan is that it is written and drafted as a loan, but over a period of time, say it's a 10-year loan, 1/10 of the loan is forgiven. In case and then by the time, 10 years, the whole loan is forgiven. If there is a problem with the project that it defaults, then we do recover the part that's not forgiven.
Okay, that was my question. That is exactly what I wanted to know. And that is all. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. I believe that's all of our items. Yep. Just briefly, I wanted you all to know that the Raleigh-Durham Startup Week is happening right now. The first 2 days was in Durham, yesterday and the day before. Today they're in Raleigh, and tomorrow. And I would like to say celebrate, which we're going to do a press advisor media announcement on this. 5 local entrepreneurs received significant venture capital investment from private philanthropy. And yesterday we hosted, I think it's like 2,500 people that are engaging in this. But it just feels good to be able to look out there and see Durham entrepreneurs who've built up from nothing, get some trust invested in them. And, the investments that they're getting can take them to multi-million-dollar companies. One of my big goals was to grow major companies out of Durham. And this is the way to go. So just want to shout that out, be on the lookout for the press advisory on that. And yeah, that's all, Mr. Manager.
You're ready to settle the agenda. I have items on consent, items 1 through 17, and GBA public hearing items 18 through 23. Move to settle.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? All right. Thank you all. We are adjourned at 1:50.